Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. No stealth camping this week, as I'm sure you can tell, but instead a self-build for some gear that I've been meaning to build for quite some time. An ultralight fire pit. Doesn't sound like a ultralight bit of kit, but it is. Trust me, I'm going to build this thing so it can flat pack down to almost nothing. On a stealth camp, obviously I could take fuel with me, so something I want to do with this is actually build it so I can use it with charcoal as a barbecue, which will obviously be way nicer for cooking on, just having that proper steady heat from charcoal, and I won't have to keep refueling because it lasts a lot longer when it's charcoal rather than wood that I have to keep feeding over and over again. Obviously, when I'm going more long distance and I'm trying to be lightweight and I won't want to carry fuel with me, it's got to be able to deal with putting in some wood and actually using it as a proper fire pit. In some respects, that will make things a lot easier, because if I do a proper sized fire pit, unlike with a tiny little wood stove, I won't need to rely on just little twigs. Obviously, I could use twigs if I want a big flame, big heat, but I can also use slightly fatter branches and build up a much more consistent and more manageable fire. And that's something that's going to be really nice to have with me on some of the trips that I've got planned for this year. Sometimes I go for quite a few days without even resupplying, and it's very key really to have some equipment like that I can reuse again and again and again, and isn't going to be weighing me down and isn't going to take up too much space in my pack. So that is the plan for today really, and well, let's just get cracking, and I'll probably talk about it a bit more as we go. Okay guys, first things first, so I'll be measuring my grill here. Now I bought 2 packs of 2, which is a total of 4 if any of you are terrible with maths. And yeah, I got these from Amazon. They're made of stainless steel. It's a pretty reasonable size. I could get a couple of chicken breasts on there. I reckon I could get at least 4 decent sized sausages on there, maybe squeeze 6 in even. And I think for one person cooks, this is going to be absolutely plenty of space, and I could probably squeeze 2-person cooks on here, no problem. One is going to end up being the sort of base with a bit of carbon felt on top of it to kind of catch any ashes and embers that fall down. Another one will be the grate that the coals sit on as they're burning, and then another one for the top for my grilling surface. And you might think it's a bit of a cheat just to buy these, but I'll be honest with you, I've tried building similar sort of things and I don't have the manufacturing capability to weld these things together. So the easiest and cheapest thing for me to do, and obviously for you guys too, if you're wanting to follow along and build something similar yourselves, is to just buy these from Amazon, because they're pretty cheap. I'm going to be honest, they are absolutely dirt cheap. I will leave a link for these, as well as any of the other items I'm using, in the description. The only thing is it comes with these feet, which I don't need, so more than likely I'm going to chop those off and just file that down and make that just a perfect circle to use. But for now, all I need it for is to measure. So my measurement is 177 millimeters. And I need to be millimeter perfect here, guys, so 177 millimeters. I'm just going to quickly use an app that they have online, the Omni calculator here. And they have one for turning your diameter into circumference. So I think 558 millimeter circumference is what I'm looking for. So with that measurement, I'll be using this titanium foil. Now, you guys might be thinking, titanium foil? Where on earth do you get that from? Well, I got this big roll from a site called Alibaba.com, which is essentially the big brother of AliExpress. And I got this for a pretty good value actually, because it was quite a lot of it, and I knew that I wanted to potentially build lots of different things, and this would come in handy because it's super lightweight. And yes, it is titanium, and titanium obviously has a higher sort of tolerance for heat. It doesn't get degraded at all. Stainless steel would work as well. Now you might be wondering, do I need to go onto Alibaba and buy this as well if I want to follow along? No, you don't. They do sell titanium foils and stainless steel foils on Amazon, so you can go on there and buy some, and you can also get it from other places as well. But just so you know what you need to buy, I'll leave the links for those in the description. Now, don't worry guys, this is not a specialised guillotine. This is just a bog standard paper and cardboard guillotine, but it will cut. It's got a nice metal edge here and here. It will cut the titanium foil. I mean, obviously I'm going to wear it out a lot quicker than I would if I wasn't using it for titanium foil, but all right, so 309 millimeters. Here we go. Okay. Took a little bit of force just to keep it from spreading itself out as I cut, but there we go. First cut. Nice. Number 2. Now, it might seem crazy at this stage. I'm going to do 2 more. Why I'm doing 2 more will come clear a bit later on. This one I think will go a little bit longer than 309 because I need this one to go around the other one. So I think we'll go 311. Are we straight? Yes, we are. There we go. Keep that separate. Last one. Yeah. Be super careful, guys. This stuff is dangerous when you're handling it. The edges that they've already pre-cut aren't too bad, but will still cut you if you're being careless. But the cuts that I've made are, I wouldn't call them razor sharp, but I mean, they'll cut you so easy. So do be really careful. I recommend long sleeves and gloves when you're handling this. And it's a case of don't do as I do, do as I say. Because obviously I'm not doing that, but you really should. I have no idea what you would call this. I'm sure that they make these things for other things. I've seen people using, I think, is it like a brake or something? Comment below if you know the name of it, because I would be interested. They do come ready-made, these sort of things, but I just built these because it was far cheaper to build what I needed for what I was trying to do. So I'm just going to deburr the edges of what I've done here. Excuse the noise, guys. The foil is a particularly noisy thing to work with. Hopefully it's not completely cutting out the sounds. I'll try and be as quiet as I can with it, but yeah, that's just a little rub with that. Just gets off that burr. Makes that a little safer. But also means it'll feed into my, I'm going to call it a brake, guys. It's probably not called a brake, but that's what I'm going to call it. Tell me in the comments below if I'm completely wrong with that and it's called something else. But it's a pretty simple process. I just put that in there. Make sure it's fed in all the way. Bend it over. Put it out. I've got a pretty straightforward bend there. There we go. So it's a nice straight fold, nice and tight, but it's got a little bit of a sort of opening, and you want that. Don't try to get that super flat. We don't want that at all. So I'll just do this one as well. Now here, we want to fold it the opposite way. And again, make sure I'm in a 10mm fold. So this is already sort of made to make sure that I get a nice straight fold. It's a pretty obvious bit of kit. I'm sure you could buy something, or you could probably even just do this manually. I feel like if you don't want to, if you're just making one of these and you're not going to be doing it like I do, where you do it quite often, you could literally just get one of these, put it on the ruler and just manually bend it upwards, and that would probably work just as well. You just have to be very careful not to let the ruler move. But this bit of equipment just makes it a bit quicker and easier for me. When you're doing several builds, it does make it a lot easier. So I'm just going to put that one over there and do the others. Make sure it's seated properly. Right, now I've got that far, I'm going to just take this board away. And I'm going to come back with a ruler. I'm just going to, easy as that. I'll show you again, just carefully bending it the rest of the way and stamping it down. We end up with a nice finished product. Right, let's try and, there we go. Oh, that one's been a bit of a pain. Sometimes you need to just give it a little flick up. There we go. There we go. Always pull, never push them together. Right, spread that out. Let's see how this one works. Okay. Oh yeah, that one's nice. Look at that. That one's going to be very nice. Now, one thing I'm noticing is the reason why this is so tight is because those legs are still on. So I'm wondering if I can get those off and try again. What I'm going to do is just see if I can't bend that in a little bit, because these are much wider than I would have given them credit for. All that, there you go. Bend it back and forth. They've come off. There you go. As easy as that. Bend it under, bend it back, bend it under, bend it back. There you go. Off they came. So you could definitely cut them off, but just bending off was enough. And then I'm just going to get at filing these a little bit, filing it down. This is always the plan anyway. So I'm just going to get these filed down, and then I'll see you guys in a moment. Well, bit of a surprise here. I think I can make it out of just the one piece, which will be even nicer because it's obviously less to carry, less fiddly. Brilliant. I thought that it was going to be a bit of a trick. As you can see, this is my hole punch for making essentially 3mm holes, which the idea is to punch a hole into the side in order for this to slot through and to sit in. I don't think that's going to be necessary. I've just experimented a little bit, and I think that I can cut a hole into these anywhere I like with a Stanley blade. It's just going to take a little bit of care, a little bit of time, but I think that I can do it with just the one piece, which is going to be amazing. Let's see if I can't show you guys how I would make holes in these. So I guess the first thing to do is to measure out my heights from everywhere. So I feel like I wanted 1.5 centimeters of room for things. Now these are going to fit into a 3mm hole. That's interesting. That might make it a bit faster with some of those. So let's just see. So I want 15 plus 1.5, 16.5 here. 16.5 here. Just mark that out. Obviously, this doesn't need to be like the most precise thing in the world, but the more effort I put into precision now, the nicer it's going to be. So, according to my calculations, if I go about 9 centimeters or 90mm from either side, and through we go. And that's a beautiful hole. And we'll do one here too. Try to marry that up. What makes this harder is trying to let you guys see. I don't know if I'm doing much of a good job with that, but so as I say, this doesn't need to be perfect. Oh, you have to give it a bit of force, but it goes through. So that was the top of that one. We'll do a similar thing here. I'll try and give you guys a better view of what I'm doing here. I don't know if you'll be able to see at all what is going on. Just want to line that up as best I can. And then squeeze and pull. There we go. Might be slightly out with that, just by a millimetre, but that's okay. I'll accept. I'm mostly going for the height to be right. If I'm slightly one way or the other on the line, it's not the end of the world. So now I've got to do the bottoms. So similar sort of thing really. I'm just going to have the line a bit further in. Yeah, about 35 mils will be about right, I'd say. Now, can I reach that? And this is the big question. Can I reach that with the hole punch? I don't think I can. So this is where I need to use a Stanley blade. Now you'll see I've gone onto a chopping board here, just to make things a bit simpler with that. So I'm essentially just going to cut a nice little circle out. All I'm doing is just controlling the blade quite precisely. I'm going for a slightly smaller hole than I think I need, because I can make the hole slightly bigger by pushing the tent pegs through. Yeah, just keep pressing down, cutting a tiny sort of, I don't know, half a millimetre or so into it at a time. And then once you've got most of the hole done, look, I can just push that through. And that's, I don't know if it comes out on the camera at all, but that has essentially pushed it. And then I've actually just smooth out the hole a little bit with that, and then just file it away. Just keep that nice and flat. And I don't know if you can tell the difference between what was a hole punch and what I've just done. I certainly can't see much of a difference, so that is absolutely the job. And as I've deburred it, there's nothing to catch myself on there. And because I've folded back the edges I've cut, the only real dangerous surfaces now are the original ones. But because it was already that size, fantastic, I've not had to cut them. This is going to work out, I think. So again, I'm going to do the same thing. Just going to try and cut the hole the same size. So that's that one done. Just need to do the holes on the bottom of this one. And there we have it. So let's put these back together again. So what's nice is I've made it so I can visually see that the top and the bottom are where they belong, because obviously there's a height difference between these things. So now I can try out the new holes. There's them. That one in. I'll put a couple more through. When I'm prototyping like this, it's always good to test it as I go, not do too much, so I can have a good old think about what's happened and what's worked, what hasn't worked. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's nice. That is robust and solid already. Hopefully you can see down in there. I'll give you a nice look. So that is a platform at the bottom and platform at the top. All I need now is to cut more holes for the middle and get this one in, and we should be good. So there we have it. It's now really solid. I mean, yeah, that thing's not going anywhere. That's really nice, actually. It's got a good size to it, as you can see. Look, I mean, I can handle that pretty well in different ways. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, all I need to do now is put some ventilation holes in. I essentially need to put some ventilation holes between where the coals will be and the bottom layer here. Probably around about halfway up. I'm just going to put some ventilation holes in all the way around, just so some air can get sucked in and through. I don't think I need anything above the fire. So yeah, that's pretty much all it needs, just the ventilation holes on this layer here, make the felt thing, and that'll be the finished product. Lovely. Let's get on with it. So this is essentially carbon felt, or a welding mat or blanket. So they use this sort of thing. You can take a blowtorch to this and it will not set alight, it will not burn. And that is kind of what we're looking for here, really. So I've got a pretty easy template here. I'm just going to hold that down and see if I can't cut around this. So I've got myself a little rough circle. So I'll get two of these that are in good nick. Sandwich that in between. And there we have it. I can now I want this pretty close, but I feel like I want a little bit of excess. I can always cut more off, I can't add it back on. So I'm using that bottom one as a template to go around at this end, but I'm making sure I'm a little bit away from it. The next thing is just to put my ventilation holes in. It shouldn't be too hard. So pull that out. Pull that. What I've got is this here, and I'll just basically punch holes through. Not sure how far apart to put them. I'm just going to do one and see how it goes. Well, it was a struggle, but I've managed to punch a hole. If you don't want to buy a hole punch, then you could, by all means, use your Stanley blades and cut yourself holes. They could be slits, holes, whatever shape you want, really. Essentially, all you're looking for is some sort of holes in here in order to act as ventilation to get some air through. So I'm essentially just going to put that one there and line it up by just using the size of the thing itself. So I'll just get it so it's about the right height and width from there. Just going to get that over here. Right, there you go. A little bit more gusto, and that's two there. I think what I'll do is I'll do two over this side. So I'm going to do one here. Now I forgot this is how I had to do this one. And then one here like this. Yeah, you do it right and it just taps it properly. There you go. Well, it's definitely seen better days, guys. But it's still much easier than trying to oh, interestingly, that makes it easier to do this. Ah, that's actually improved it. I can hold it down. That's crazy. Look at that. It's improved the tool. Go figure. Hold that down now. There you go. I am not going to complain about that. It's not often that when you break a tool it works better, but clearly it can happen. Oh my lord, look at that. Lovely. So what do we think, guys? Do we think that's enough ventilation? It's certainly enough for a barbecue. 4 holes either side. I don't want too much ventilation, but I also want enough. I can't put the hole back, but I can cut another one out. Do I test it like this? Let me know what you think, guys. Is that enough ventilation? I'm going to do one more over here. Just going at it, but there you go. And I'm going to do one more, and one that's close to that, which is this one here. I'm going to do one more here too. Just pin that down. Oh, I don't think I've got through. There we go. And you're free, it pops back up. There we go. That is definitely not what that's designed to do. Let's face it, this is for cutting cardboard at best, but more than likely just paper. And it's certainly not designed to get hit by a hammer, but what can I say, it worked, guys. So yeah, so what I've done is 4 that side, but 6 this side, so I can adjust for the wind, I guess. That's not too bad at all. And we'll just put the bottom pins in. Put that in. Crease side up. Or crease pointing upwards, I should say. So we have a base, which is important to keep obviously the ash off the floor. So that's why we have that in there, guys. I guess if you're not worried about the floor, if you want a bit of mud that isn't going to be a problem, you don't need to put that in. That's potentially a bit of superfluous bit of kit, but I'm thinking there's even a possibility I could have this on the table. And if that worked out, that would be awesome. Because then obviously you don't have to be bending down, and you can put this up on whatever you want, really. I have a little camping table. I might take it with me and give that a little try. I'm sure at one point during one of these camps I'll take my camping chair and my camping table, and when that happens I will give it a shot. But as you can see, it just goes together pretty straightforward and easy. It's just a case of putting some pegs in. There you go, and that's it. The finished article. So yeah, that's my new Ultralight fire pit. I'm sure you're all real curious how much does this actually weigh, so I'm going to just get some scales out and weigh it. Total weight 241 grams. That's not too bad. 241 grams. So that is the fire pit all ready to go, and I can't wait to test this thing. So that is the plan. Next week you'll hopefully have a video of me doing a stealth camp and trying this out. I'll probably take some charcoal with me and do a nice little barbecue, I think, on that one. But I might also throw in some wood and test it as a little fire pit as well, because let's face it, it needs fully testing before I take it out on any major trips. And so here comes the pack down, guys. It says so what I'd probably do is have these together so that the dirty sides are touching each other, and if my calculations are correct, you know, I don't think this is that oversized. Oh, look at that, that's nice. So then put those in. I guess I can, yeah, I can fold that, why not? Okay, put that in up there, and then I've got my tent pegs, just enough to get the job done. I can put them there at the bottom. That's it. There we have it, guys. A nice flat pack stove. I do like to have it in something like this, just because when it gets dirty and it gets covered in soot and whatnot, the last thing I want to do is put it in my pack and make everything dirty and stinky and smelly. But I'll put it in this and I can pack that however I like. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward, and that should go in my day pack or my proper backpack, and it doesn't really take up that much room if you think about it. I'm just going to put that down probably the back where my supports are, but I could even put it on the outside, I guess. But yeah, that is properly flat packed. I like that. Most of the size is actually from the grills, which was a thing I knew was going to happen. And obviously the titanium sides are pretty small, but that is super lightweight. I'll give it a quick weigh in with the bag and all. Try to get the zip on there as well. There we go. So all in all, with the bag, 300 grams, dead on. That is awesome. 300 grams all in, and I get a nice fire pit that I can double up as a barbecue, and I can use that on so many adventures. This is going to be amazing. I love that. Yeah, I can't wait to try this, but I have really loved building it. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching me build it as much as I enjoyed building it, because yeah, this is the sort of thing I love to do. Getting my ideas out into the real world, making them actually exist. That's just the thing I love the most to do, I'll be honest. It's even more fun than actually going and using it, I have to be honest with you guys. And having you here sharing the experience with me, obviously that means the world too. So make sure you smash that like button, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you do. And I'll see you in about a week to test this beauty out and see how well it does out in the field. And hopefully in weeks to come after that, we can do more adventures together and I can really get some use out of this. But if it doesn't work out next week and the test goes badly, then obviously you'll see me do another build while I rejig this thing and make it better all the time. But for now, you take care, and look at that.